What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Full Blast. I am your host, Raja Burrows, and we're doing something a little different today because I decided to start taking things seriously. Before we get into that, please be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the little bell icon below to be notified anytime a new video goes live. And of course, feel free to share it far and wide. So as you may have already noticed, the tone of this video is a little different. We're trying some new things. We're mixing it up a little bit. We are actually trying to make a good YouTube video. Because as you may have noticed, there's not a lot of stopping and starting. Or rather, there is, but I'm doing the smash cut vloggy vlog thing. See? Like I just did right there. You know, I'm trying to give a little more polish to the work that I'm doing in general, and specifically when it comes to video creation. So now what this means is that the recording process is completely foreign to me. 100%. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it feels so much easier in a way that I didn't expect. Let me explain. So previously, for the last 139 videos that I have done on this channel, the many that I did before that, not just about objective personality, but about everything, they've all been single take shots. I would hit record and then I would just go. And that was important and cool because it was doable, because it was familiar. I'm accustomed to just hitting record and then I'ma just talk. And there absolutely was a value and a charm and an energy to those videos that I think was really, really important. Beyond the fact that I didn't really know how to do it any other way, and I wanted to generate content, and I knew that the most important thing was just making videos. If I'm gonna make videos, I have to make videos. I can't really care about the quality to an extent. Obviously, they can't be super, super crappy, but I wasn't super concerned with the polish because I just wanted the content to exist, and I knew that at that time, there was no way for me to get the level of polish that I would have been comfortable with without taking way too much time and having the existence of the content suffer. So the way that I'm recording these videos now, and again, I don't know if this is the right way to do it, the best way to do it, I have no idea. But I do know that what's working for me today, right now, is that I am still recording in one take. So if you look at the timestamp on the video that you're watching right now, it's probably gonna be, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but on my little viewfinder recorder thing, I've been recording straight for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And what I've done is not only have I just stopped, take a breath, redo a line, but after each sentence, maybe not each sentence, but after each thought, I deliberately just stopped talking. Now, there is a technical, literal, sensory, whatever reason for this. It makes it easier in the editing process so that I can see, oh, okay, well, when the sound bar is 0, that's when I stopped talking, and so it'll make the initial sweep of editing a lot easier for me. Again, I'm making stuff up at this point. I don't really totally know what the optimal way of doing this is, but I started watching some YouTube videos about how to make YouTube video, right? Because that's a whole genre. But there was actually some really helpful stuff in there, and even just watching these vloggers do their thing, you eventually start to get a sense of the patterns and the ways in which everything is organized. And so after watching this, I was like, oh, I can see why it feels like there's continuity, because even though the cuts themselves are smashing together, there's music underneath, and that's creating continuity and arc and there's a thought and a script. And anyway, the point is, after having seen enough vloggers and vlogs and like really trying to look at it with a critical eye, it became very, very clear to me what gave these videos that I liked watching their snap and their pop and their like, ooh, that's spicy, I like that. Even without getting into all of the algorithm stuff, which is a whole separate thing that's also completely new to me. So I'm not worrying about the algorithm stuff yet. Like, again, step one, get the content tight. And you know, now that I've been making OP YouTube videos, you know, on this channel for about 1.5 years, again, for the years before that when I was on Facebook making videos, I can trust that I have the video recording muscle, which means that I have the privilege and the responsibility of getting out of my OI comfort zone. See, I was going to bring it around to OP eventually, I just had to get there. So now that I'm trying this process in a new way, it's revealing a lot about just what my blast over consume is good at, what it's good for, but also its limitations. It just depends on what the situation really calls for. But in my case, the reason that I did the one take thing was largely a relic of how I started making videos. Because on Facebook Live, which is how the first of all of these videos even started, there was no opportunity to edit. You hit record and you start talking and hope it's good enough. But that's not how YouTube works. What does this have to do with consume? It's not that lead consumes are instantly great and comfortable trying new things. But what does track pretty well is that someone with lead consume is going to be much more willing to try something without a plan of action already in place. Again, we're talking about at scale, but almost universally, the blasters need a plan. We need some framework within which to operate. Otherwise, we got nothing. We are flailing. And here's what's really, really wild. Now that I'm doing it in this new way where I say a thought and then I just pause, and then I trust that in the editing process, I can pare all of that down and turn it into a nice, tight video. In a lot of ways, this is way easier, at least when it comes to my feeling of comfort about what I'm putting out into the world. I'm halfway through recording this thing and I'm already more excited about the final result than I would be if I were this far into a video not having planned to have it go through some sort of editing process, which is something I never imagined, which sort of brings me to the next facet of Demon Consume. Because Demon Consume doesn't want to try new things because it could come at the expense of tribe validation. That's the key, right? Because my Demon Consume is like, hang on now, Mr. Blasty Blast over there is good at and responsible for getting that tribe validation, giving something nice and packaged and whatever to the tribe members. And Consume is like, I don't know that I want to sacrifice that, or at least the Demon Consume. And then, of course, because this is how everything works, as soon as you try the thing that you're afraid of or to do the demons, you're like, oh, I see the other side of this coin. I understand the things better, etc., blah, blah, blah. We can shorthand the personal growthy part for this particular video. Did I really just say that we can shorthand the personal Y'all, I don't even know. I'm just gonna blame it on the new camera and the mic. I got a new setup. Listen, I'm just trying to step up my game in a number of different arenas, one of which is video production across the board. We're doing a thing. We're just doing new things over here, okay? But what I'm finding is that when I am just in full blast mode and just blasting away, I don't fully appreciate how much better my blast becomes when I give myself the chance to take a break. Because again, right now we are at the 18-minute and 38-second mark of this raw file that I'm recording. And the things that I've been talking about, I would not have stumbled upon, I would not have been able to reflect upon in the moment if I didn't give myself that beat, those moments to pause, to not go full blast on my known information. And I think that this really speaks a lot to the interplay between saviors and demons in general, and how doing one function makes you better at the other, and vice versa. These are two sides of the same coin. That's how the coins in objective personality work. That's just how they work. I don't know how else to put it. That's just how they work. The onus is on us to look at the ways in which our life is a little clunky, a little out of sync. It feels like we're working too hard. Because I have become increasingly convinced that when something feels off or stressful or hard, when it's a situation when someone doesn't have a gun to your head, or like a tiger is about to, like, not a real life or death situation, it's that we're not aware of the resources within us and around us. You know, part of the reason that the videos have tapered off a little bit is because I was like, I can't full blast anymore. I have run out of shit to full blast about. And then now that I have done a little bit of consuming and gave my blaster a break, now when I come back into blast land, we're good. It's fine. It's a lot easier because I rested that part of my awareness, that part of my psyche, that muscle. That's still fantastic. Don't get me wrong, my blast is dope as hell. But because I wasn't giving my blast any rest in the middle of the blasting, it was just blast, 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 turn off the camera. It got burned out and it needed more of a recovery time. Whereas now, just because of the style of the video, I can give my blast breaks in the middle of the video making. And then when the blast does get to come out, it's just hitting you hard, like it's doing the thing the whole time. And I'll end on this, and this is a more general demon state note for myself, for you, for every human. Basketball players, football players, anyone who plays a team sport does not play the entire game. I'm going to use American football for reference. First, you have offense and defense, so you're only really playing roughly half of the game anyway. But even within, just the offense, right? The quarterback will probably play the entire chunk, but it's really, really common for a running back to do a couple of plays, sit down. Let the second string running back come on while they do some throwing plays, move the chains, get the ball down the field, and then once the ball is closer to the end zone, bring in the stud running back to actually score. Now, that doesn't always happen, but I think that it's a useful framework to think about our functions. That within any given drive, within any given task, within any given video recording, you have to build in those breaks organically, because that's the only thing that we can sustain. If we try to do our saviors or our demons or our whatever in one big chunk and then just hope that we can give ourselves a dedicated rest period, we might succeed at that for a while. But I'm telling you from personal experience, at some point you will burn out. You have to build in those breaks, that gentleness into the process itself, because that's the only way that you will be able to sustain anything that you are trying to accomplish. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you for joining me on this delightful little adventure into a new way of movie making, a new way of vlogging. And as always, I love you, I see you. Now let's do the damn thing.